Well, today is not a beautiful day, and it's supposed to be like this all day. The river is rising. So give you guys an update on the ceiling in the great room. Eric has got all of the pine stripped off, as we are going to be putting closed cell foam in all of this rafter area and this entire front wall. And I know I said the day is not a pretty day, and it isn't. It's supposed to rain literally all day, and then roughly around 9 o'clock tonight, the temperature is going to start plummeting, and by Sunday, we're supposed to be in the negatives. But not always is a rainy day a bad thing. This roof above my head has been on for years and years and years and years and years, and I've known prior to getting the pine pulled off that we've had some areas, and we've known that we're going to replace all the screws in this ceiling, pull one out, put a brand new one in, pull one out, put a brand new one in, and we're going to have it painted, which will also help seal it up. But new screws is going to be a very big item that we have to take care of. As you can see here, we do have some water issues. They're small, and it's because that screw missed the board. It barely caught the corner. So there's that screw, that seal is not holding properly. It's allowing water through. These screws here have probably been in for years, and somewhere right along in here is the joint of the metal. I'm not exactly sure where, and it could be that backboard. We've got some small water problems to take care of in this metal roof. And then we knew we had a leak over here that was hitting this table. Well, if you guys look up there, you can actually see daylight where the pink and the blue come together, and you've got the wet spot. It's actually daylight right there, so right there. So we definitely know we can't put a screw there, but we're gonna have to seal that up some way, shape, or form. And this also tells me where my other leak paths are, which I was pretty confident I knew where they were. But if we look at this straight wall, which meets the round tower, I know for a fact that the metal roof over top of this framing stops right there. And that is where that mortared trough was created. And as we all know, mortar absorbs water. So once we extend this roof here, that'll be taken care of. Now let's go check out all the other wet spots within the tower. Same thing here. The room above us has a door in the rock, and it is not sealed properly. So either we frame that door in, and I'll show you that when we get to the next floor, or we flash it properly, and that's going to mitigate all this water. I've known that this window leaks. You can see the daylight all the way down and under, which is why this water is coming in, because the wind is blowing it in off the river. Get a new window in here, or seal this one off and flash it properly on the outside, and that water will be taken care of. We don't have any water issues on any of the exterior walls that don't have a penetration. Obviously, we know this is going to leak because, well, we don't have the roof on this one yet. That's coming soon if the weather would ever quit. And then you saw the water on the wall coming down to the window below us. Same problem here. You guys can see where the water is pulling up, literally right there on the outside of this window. So that's not flashed or sealed off properly. And here's that door I'm talking about. You can see where the back side of the door has water on it. So that water's just coming in and going through. Again, I know you guys can't hardly see me, but again, things that we can fix. Now let's get to the very top and see if our new portion of the construction is sealed properly. All right, so before we go all the way to the top, before we put the roof on the very top, and before we sealed everything up at the top, this wall would have a waterfall running down it. And as you can see, that's an old water run. That's an old water run. It's brown, it's not wet, it's not shiny. I don't see anywhere that we have any wet spots coming from the top. That's an old one there. So y'all don't be pointing that one out. That's an old one, and there's no water drops coming below it. That's old water stains. And that's a poured concrete floor up there. As you guys saw, spray foam on that. So that all should be sealed well because we got a roof over it. And there's where the addition ties in for the floor above us. Eric, I think
Yeah, that's looking good.
I haven't confirmed at the very top, but I think we're doing all right. Let's head to the very top. Okay, you guys are not allowed to judge me by how unclean this area is that I'm getting ready to show you, but Eric's gonna take care of that while I go get some electrical supplies, because they weren't calling for this rain, they were calling for snow. And in snow, I can frame stuff up outside from the man lift and don't feel too bad about it. But since it's raining its butt off, we're gonna get ourselves prepared for the insulation guys. But as you guys remember from previous videos, we framed all this closed all the way around. We created the bump out. Yes, the soffit's not on out there, and no, I haven't closed any of that off yet, which has to come too before the insulation guys get here. But this is 100% dry. So we obviously did a really good job getting this exterior roof on. It's mitigated all of the water issues that was coming down from the top, excluding the windows in the castle that you guys saw earlier. But as we come out through here, we used to have a pretty major water issue here, and that's 100% dry, 100% dry, 100% dry, so we're good there. Eric is going to get all of this cleaned up while I go get electrical supplies. And this is another area that we're going to have closed cell foamed. In between every one of these rafters, we're going to put at least 2 inches of foam all the way down, all the way out behind the header, and we're going to insulate these walls. So we got to get our light fixture boxes, our outlets in the exterior walls to make sure that we're ready for those foam guys. But as we come down through here to see how well we did on the addition, coming down the stairway to heaven, as I would call it, other than where the wind was blowing out of the north, and I don't have anything over that. We got a little bit coming in right there, but that's wind blown moisture. We are 100% dry. I don't see any leak paths whatsoever. Check the next level. Again, this is because it blew in that window. We don't have lights in here, so flashlight it is. We used to have moisture problems in this corner because of the flat rock that's right outside that corner. But as you can see, our castle wall is perfectly dry. I know my paper's on the inside, not the outside, but we're dry. I know I've got one more floor, but if the top floor is dry, the bottom floor is going to be dry. I call that huge success. Now we got to get some electrical done. Hopefully it's not raining tomorrow. Hopefully it's not sub-zero temperatures, and hopefully blisters available, and we can get that last roof framed up that has to close off a hole. And then the last bit we would have to do to mitigate all moisture issues is replace the screws in the metal roof, extend the metal roof over to the round tower, and flash the windows on the front side if we don't put brand new windows in long term. So we are dry. Now it's time for me to go get some materials. You guys are going to go with me. We're going to have some fun. We're going to figure out what you guys believe are the best options for things. I'm going to buy what I believe is going to work the best, and then you guys can give me your comments on that, and then we'll install it together and we'll figure it out. I know I'm in a Jeep and the windshield wipers are running, it's raining, but when you can be that close to a barge, you start to realize how big those things really are. And they're just massive, massive, massive boats. Both of them are tied up and staged to be locked through the dam. So there's the dam. Those barges were just right back there. I don't know if they've got too much junk. Oh no, now I see what's going on. There's actually a barge being locked through right now that's coming up. You can see his front end there, he's hauling coal. Wasn't sure if maybe it was because of all the drift that's in the river, because the river is definitely rising. Rain, 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 rain. But you'll see as we get down through here, you'll see the actual tug at the end of that. And obviously you can't see the barge because it's down in those very tall concrete walls, but you'll be able to see the top of the tug here in just a second. There he is. All right, let's go get some electrical supplies. Well, all right, here we are in the lovely Menards. The beauty of the castle is it's only about 20 to 25 minutes from Owensboro, Kentucky, and we are in the electrical aisle. Question for you guys. I've always had these type. I've always wanted to try these type, and I've always wanted one of these. But the question for you guys is, which is better, a paddle bit or an auger bit? I'm not 100% certain, as I've never tried an auger bit, but we're gonna get one and we're gonna give it a shot and we're gonna try it out together. But put it in the comments, what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer a paddle bit or do you prefer an auger bit? The next step in this, oh, and I gotta remember, when you do use paddle bits, sometimes they're a little too short, so you always gotta have an extension. What I have done before is made my own, welded an extension to the paddle bit, but it's only 10 bucks. We'll see how it works. Next step is to get the boxes and figure out if we're going can lights or thin mounted LED lights. But I know for a fact we need electrical outlet boxes. We're gonna probably just get a whole box of those, and then we're gonna try to figure out what type of lights. I haven't had to think about this yet. I know I'm putting lights in, but I don't know what kind of lights. So we got to figure out if we're going to go with the thin LEDs or if we're going to go with can light LEDs, or what we're going to go there. So we're going to pick out some boxes and then we'll head over to the lights and figure out what we're going to do there. Well, as you can see, we've got a lot in the cart. We're going to spend a chunk of money today. We've got some new construction shallow cans. We'll show you guys what those are going to be for. And then I have also some new construction thin LED mounting brackets. We'll show you how those are used. But this is the type of lighting, actually not that one. This is the type of lighting that I'm looking at. It's got the junction box. You can choose the brightness. It's an LED, doesn't produce any heat, and it also can be put in soffits, as this is waterproof, but this can be put in wet applications such as showers, etc., etc. And by having that allows me to get a thinner profile. And with what we're going to do with the ceilings in the castle, again, the only thing we're trying to get to is ready for insulation, so we're not getting all of the lighting fixtures, but we've got to get the wire, the boxes, and the mount portions in and ready so that we can have insulation come through. But if you can imagine these springs on the outside edges, basically you flex those open, you figure out which size flat light you have here, and you either pop out the center portion if you have a 4-inch, or you pop out this outer portion if you have a 6-inch, and then the spring foot holds on the back side of that flat plate. So that should be everything we need to get all the lights in that we need to get in, and wires to the mounting locations, and we'll plumb in the junction boxes, wire those in later. So we don't have to have our lights, we just have to have our locations that all the lights are going to go, and a very good understanding of what lights we're going to utilize. So let's go get checked out and see what the damage is. All right, so we made it back. Eric got the top of the tower completely cleaned. We will have to long-term frame up a wall here and here, because we're going to put a very small, use the bathroom and wash your hands at the top of the tower here. But what Eric's getting ready to do, we know this is our hot, this is our feed. So Eric's going to get some outlet boxes, one under each window, one in that wall. And then by the time I'm done with another thing that I've got to do here real quick with an individual that's here, I'll be able to start running wire into boxes, and then we can start getting over to our switch, and then we can get all of our brackets mounted in the ceiling that we'll have up here. And I think we're going to go with 4 lights instead of 8. I think 8's going to be too much because this chandelier is going away long term. So you guys are going to see Eric put some boxes in. We'll be back to explain some more. So as you guys saw, these are the pieces that I purchased, and I did decide to go ahead and get a few lights so we can see how this works out. But you have this really thin LED light with a junction box. The junction box mounts with the LED light. These little spring-loaded wings, which I'll take this apart and show you guys later. These little spring-loaded wings go in this hole and then put pressure on this metal plate to hold the light in place. This is what attaches to our rafters. So what I've decided here is we're going to put one in this spot to light up the last portion of the bump out entrance into the room. And then we have 5 cavities that we created with our framing. So I'm going to put one here, and then skip and put 3 in down there. Hopefully that makes sense. Though you guys haven't figured out if I want to put you at the bottom or keep you up here at the top when I install these brackets, but you're gonna be on one end or the other. Show you guys how we install these. I've never done it, so we're gonna learn together. All right, give you guys a little explanation of what Eric's doing here to be able to mount his boxes. We're adding a 2x6 to the 2x4 wall because we're gonna finish this out in a rustic look and feel. And what we're going to end up doing is stripping it out horizontally and then running vertical boards on the wall. Those boards are essentially 1 inch thick. So we're going to put horizontal here and then a vertical across that, horizontal here, horizontal there, and then a vertical that runs up the wall. So we've got to bring that out, that extra 2 inches, so that when we have the box mounted appropriately, it's actually on the face of what this finished wall will be. And I don't see any reason to run a 2x6 top to bottom, because that is going to be a thermal transfer. Each one of these studs already are a thermal transfer. Even though we're going to put closed cell foam here, any cold from out there will transfer through this board, and I don't want that to be in 2 spots. So we're just putting a 12-inch box mount. We're screwing it to the 2x4s. Everywhere we're going to put a box. We do have, like I stated earlier, 2 walls to frame up. We can't frame those up until we get this decked and get the subfloor down. But this is our home run. Again, as mentioned earlier, we're going to sneak it over into that wall, run it through, probably put an outlet in this wall, because when you're sitting here using the John, it's always nice to be able to charge your phone. So we're probably going to put an outlet in here just as a junction box to then get our wire through the attic space, through that plywood into this cavity, and then we're going to put our switch legs right here. I did get one of these mounted. These two 2x4s were a little tighter than what this really wants. And yes, it looks off-centered in the 2x4s, but it will not be off-centered in the actual opening. I measured from side to side. It is centered from left to right, or from right to left and left to right. Got this one mounted. I've got 3 more to mount down through here. I don't need a ladder for the first one, but I'm going to have to do some interesting stuff to make it to the middle one, and then also the bottom one. We're going to have to figure something out for down there, but we're going to get 3 more of these mounted, and then I will show you guys how this, I don't know, I call it a puck light. They're really, really ultra thin, and the reason I went with these is we framed this up with 2x4s, and we're going to have 2 inches of foam on here, and we've got to be able to fit a junction box on top of this and that light. Here is that junction box. When I put this junction box on top of this, I measured from the ceiling down, and I have 2.5 inches. So we're for sure going to be able to get 2.5 inches of closed cell foam there. I'll show you guys how I install the next one, and then we'll come back and I'll show you guys how these lights get installed. I know they don't have to be there, and they really can't or shouldn't be there for the foaming process, but we may be working, doing some things, framing up this, that, and the other, so we're going to need some light. So I am going to go ahead and install one of these, and I can kill the power with a switch later. That's going to be mounted right there. So let me get you set up. We're going to mount this next one together, and then I'll show you guys how the light goes in the bracket. So for me, step number 1 is to get my center point. We frame these up on 4 feet, yep, 48 inches. So if I bump one side or the other, it don't matter which, give myself a 2-foot line. That makes sure that I know where the center of that puck light, if you will, I don't know what you really call them. You guys can correct me. Put it in the comments. I'll learn something. That'll make sure that I'm centered this way. I know that I have 29.5 inches as my center point, which puts me in this cavity. Now I got my center point this way, and I'll measure my center point that way. And the reason why I state that is they have this nice little bolt right here, so once you get your frame mounted, you can actually slide the flat plate left to right within your cavity to get it centered or positioned where you want it. And the way these work, it's got a little bitty foot right here that goes on the bottom of the 2x4, 2x6, 2x8, whatever you're mounting it to, and then you have a nail on all 4 sides. So you take your handy dandy hammer, get yourself centered on your line, because you can't move it up and down, you can only move it side to side. And I want my light centered, not my bracket centered. Yep, looks like that nail sticks out a little too far, which is fine. While we're doing it, might as well tap them all in. Again, I mounted that one for the junction box to sit on the bottom side. Really doesn't matter, but we're gonna keep them all the same. Shove your flat plate all the way over. Now you have a center point on your circle because of the cutouts that I'll show you guys here in a minute. Get your foot to the bottom of your 2x4. Oh, don't bend your nail. That's a bad idea. This is really close to the track. And if you bend your nail, you're going to end up in your track. Oh, goodness. The first one went on a whole lot easier than this. Must just be the way I'm holding my mouth, because that is not going to go in there right. Get over there. Still on center. Get your bottom one, little foot flush. Get your nail in there. On the struggle bus. I honestly do wish those feet were out a little bit further, but I know that that'll take more raw material and they would just charge us more for them. Beggars can't be choosers, right? Slide it over, have the same center point, get your feet down. Get your foot down. And that is that little screw that I was telling you about. I'll show you how that works here in a second, but if you slide it out of your way now that you have yourself centered, now we're mounted. Now I take my screwdriver I have in my pocket with a 1/4 inch socket. I know I'm 29.5 inches, and again I've got those same cut marks here, which is the center of the circle. Bring it over to 29.5. Confirm the other side just to be sure. Yep, 29.5. Take my little 1/4 inch socket. Tighten that baby down. Now it doesn't move. Next step is cutting out the circle. This one's a little bit closer for you guys. What we know is we have a 6-inch light, not a 4-inch light. If you want to double make sure, yep, we need a big circle cut out. Take a pair of side cuts. Doesn't take anything extra special other than not having pocket lint on it. Clip, clip, clip. Grab it so it doesn't hit you in the face. Clip. Now the circle's gone. These are your two little spring-loaded wings here, which apply pressure down. Make sure your wire's up in the hole. Starts your spring. Starts your spring. Bam. Now we have a light that'll project here. Is it wired to actually work? No. That's where the junction box comes into play. You guys see the little white wire with the little screw cap on it. The light also has a little white wire right here. You put the two pieces together, screw it off, run your 12-2 wire into your junction box. You've got multiple ports of entry for that. Pull open the little cap, run your neutral, your hot leg, and your ground. Put it all in there, close it up, and this goes right here. This wire would be hidden right on top. To me, that's going to come out pretty darn slick. And the other thing about these lights is you've got several different options here. You've got 5K, 500K, 400K, 350, 3500K, 3000, and 2700. If we look at the box, gives you some different ratings here. So basically the lowest setting is 68 lumens and the highest setting is 71 lumens. And what they're calling it, 71 lumens. What they're calling it is the 5000 is what they call daylight and the 2700 is soft white. We'll probably just turn these suckers all the way up when we first get them wired up and see how much light it projects on the stairway to heaven. We have two more to install. Once we get those installed, we're also going to put the same type of lighting in here. We'll install 4 in here, and that will allow us to, like mentioned earlier, get our switch leg over to that, and we'll put a double switch there that operates the room and the stairwell. So the one leg will have to be, in my opinion, a 3-way. So we can turn the stairwell off or on from here, and we can turn the stairwell off and on from down there. So I do have to get a wire from that switch leg down there, which will also control every one of these lights in the stairway to heaven. So we'll install 2 more, then we might pull some wire. Well, I've confirmed I can reach the bottom one, but I can't reach this one. We're kind of in the heart of the steps, and I don't have one of them fancy ladders where you can adjust the legs on it. So here's what I got. I got an 8-foot ladder opened up. It cannot kick out that way. It cannot go any further. It's touching the wall. Yes, it's setting at an angle, but I'm going to take 2 2x8s and I'm going to span them from the second to top rung over to here to the stringer or the tread. I'm going to screw it to the tread, and then I'm going to walk out across those, and I'm going to put one of those brackets right here. Not going to worry about putting a light in this one. I will get the wire to it and then wire from it to the next one, but we're not going to worry about wiring this one up. We're probably only going to wire that first one, so we've got light that'll light up the stairwell and then light up the tippy top of the tower there, the observation part of it. So let's get this put together, see how safe this is. Let's see what happens. I'm putting 2 2x8s down because I don't trust the fact that one will hold my weight. Got plenty of overhang on the ladder. All right, let's get this screwed on. I'm putting a screw, hopefully where a screw is going to go later. power screw to the steps. Since I have two of them, I want to screw them together. Just to make sure they don't come apart. And that'll give me, like they have on pirate ships, walk the plank. An 8-inch plank to walk. Let's get this other one on. Well, we might have had to do some little bit of risky business there, but we got the first one, the second one, the third one, and the last one mounted. It's gonna be all right, ain't it?
It's good. Good spacing.
I think so too. Those two are the closest, but I really like the fact that that top one shines almost straight down where the rest of these are shining at an angle. Like that light there is gonna project down into here. That light there is gonna project almost right on that platform there, which should light up the stairwell down there too. So I like spacing, come out nice. We got all the outlet boxes mounted. Good to go, huh? All right, we got the one in the wall in the bathroom, one under each window. Explain the spacer to you guys. You actually have one more. One in every wall.
I thought we was just doing windows.
And the one wall that doesn't in the bathroom, because I'm not 100% certain what we're going to put over there, but we know that we're going to frame this closed, and this little stairwell enclosure is going to come out of here
One more to go
soon. But we wanted to get some of the electrical started because our main feed also feeds the light under there and feeds the light that chandelier. So yeah, one more on that side and that'll be done. I'm going to go ahead and get our feed into this box and try to figure out how I want to run everything over here. So like I said earlier, I want to have two switches, one for the room and one for the stairwell. The one for the room is just a single, not a three-way switch. So maybe I'll mount those 4 brackets. I've got 4 more for sure. Mount those real quick and then we'll be able to pull some wire before we'll run out of time. That's what we're doing. But it was rainy this morning, so I went and got all the electrical supplies. And I told you guys we'll see what the damage is. I didn't buy a whole lot. I didn't feel like I bought a whole lot, but it was $1,500. So here we are with $1,500 worth of stuff. Let's get some more put up. Okay, this side's a little tricky, so I mounted that one without you guys because it was wasn't really sure how it was going to work out. But if I match the roof line, and again, all this is going to be sprayed with closed cell foam and painted black. Same as these brackets will be painted black. But if I just match the roof line, the light shines like over there. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the top edge the way it's supposed to be mounted, but I'm putting the bottom edge up in the rafter cavity, but making sure I have 2.5 inches behind that bottom corner, and as we go up the roof, the gap grows. So there's one spot that's close. You'll see it here. See how that backside is way closer, this being the backside, that being the top side, way closer than that top side. And I wasn't able to use the feet, but the sheet metal they use is thin enough. It is held in there exceptionally well, not worried about that. We're gonna go over here. Again, we got a bathroom that's gonna be installed here. So this will allow us to do one cavity for this wall, and I couldn't center it. It's gonna have to be what it is. And then I'll be able to, when I put my ceiling in my bathroom, I'll be able to put a light in the bathroom there, which will make everything match the same. So we'll be covering 4 spots. There'll be 3 lights for the room, 1 light for the bathroom. Let's get this second and third one installed, and maybe before the day's over with, we'll be able to get this power into that box and that box over to our switch and get a wire up and over to here. Maybe. Cross our fingers. It's already getting pretty late. Well, we got our 4 brackets mounted. So we're running out of daylight. I'm gonna do a little bit more work. That's gonna be hard for you guys to see. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm gonna end the day with a barge departing us upriver. Hopefully you enjoyed. As always, like, comment, subscribe, turn those notifications on, click that bell, share away, share. We appreciate the support. We greatly do.